day one.
It's quite good, isn't it?
It's really fun. I don't care.
I've not done it before.
This is the reason that someone is now in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling, and this is our Round Table. It's our discussion series where we will talk about all host of wrestling, and it's very rare that we are in the most as modern can be, but I felt it needed to be talked because I think we're going to come from very different viewpoints. We're going to talk about Jey Uso, our views on Jey Uso, our views on the whole concept of everything. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And put in your things. What's your view on Jey Uso currently? What's your views on Jey Uso winning? Where's your viewpoint? Are you in the IWC way, which is very grumpy, or in the way of every single person watching who's happy? Let's find out. We want to know about it. So, Sam. Let's just throw out a little preamble here.
Sure.
So, Jey Uso, we're going to completely agree, is arguably, if not the number one most over wrestler in WWE right now.
Right now, I would say so, which is why it hurts me to say what I'm going to say today.
So, preamble, everyone has also complained, that they never gave him the big win. Even when he did have a win with the IC title, they took it away within a month to further a different storyline. So there has been an element of the most over, but also hasn't had those big kind of moments and stuff like that. Yeah. So Sam, what's your view? Going into the Royal Rumble, we both predicted CM Punk.
Yes.
And we did it on our own channel. We did it on the Ringside Renaissances. I say Renaissances. I want to say Renaissance with them. As if it's like painting of French people.
I'm with that.
We did it on their podcast. We both said CM Punk then. When we did our predictions at the beginning of the year, we were thinking people like John Cena was one we had. Jey Uso's name wasn't said anywhere. Like, when Roman, Seth, and Punk were eliminated, every single human being who's a wrestling fan, every single one went, well, Cena's winning then.
Yes.
Every single one. So it was nice to get that surprise, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yes.
But no one predicted Jey Uso. In fact, when they had like the 8 people left, on the podcast I was just on, last week I was on the Wrestling is Awesome podcast. Go check those guys out. They are great. I was just on their podcast literally last Wednesday. And they said, they said, everyone in here could arguably win it. Apart from Jey Uso. It's literally what they said. And this is where we are. So I am going to throw this out there already, that I think this is 100% understandable and even arguably the correct decision. Sam, where are you coming from when it comes to Mr. Yeetman?
Yes, Mr. Yeetman. I think it's very understandable. I think... So I have my opinions, and what I will kind of preempt this all with is I have my opinions, but it doesn't mean that I am right, and it doesn't mean that it shouldn't happen just because I feel this way.
You're allowed to have your favourites, and you're allowed to be disappointed with your favourites, but it doesn't mean you can be angry with the product.
No, so I'm not, you Triple H, you're ruining the company. No, like, I understand I'm in the minority. So if I'm in the minority, and most people are pro this, that's fine.
Which, as the crowd are showing, it's absolutely the case.
But I have my opinions, and I'm going to talk about them. With this, I love the fact, and I've got kind of a pros and cons list.
You've done a yay and nay.
Sam, I have to do this. But Sam, I've got a bit of a pros here.
Hang on. Welcome to Yay and Nay with Jey Uso.
I had to because I've got so much in my brain. I've got like 4 pros. Sam, look at my cons list. It's long. Sam,
my God.
Sam, it's long. Sam, it's very long.
I have 1 con.
Sam,
I have 2 cons.
So much to talk about.
I have 2 cons.
Sam, you have no idea. I had so much fun writing this. It was nice to vent this down on just my phone.
In that case, right. Let's do it in a different way then. Okay. Let's put you into the con.
Cool.
And I'll be into the pro. Okay. How about that then? So go through your pros, and then I can talk about some of them as my pro standpoint. So
okay. What I will say is, you touched on it. The surprise of him winning the Rumble.
It was great. How many surprise winners have we had? I would argue in the last 20 years, Nakamura was a surprise winner. Randy Orton was a surprise winner.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
And then we're kind of struggling. The rest were really predictable. Cody was predictable. Brock. I told you Brock and Ronda were going to win before they'd even. You didn't even know Ronda was going to be there. You didn't know Ronda was there, and I was like, and then Ronda's music hit and went, "That's who I think's winning." And you went, "Oh, it is, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And having that surprise winner, we don't get that at the Royal Rumble. And let's be honest, if you were going to push someone for the world title, the story is there for Jey. The backstory is there. Him losing constantly, him losing to Gunther. People go, why did they have the Saturday night's main event if you're just going to have it at WrestleMania? Because two things. One, WrestleMania is mid-April. Closer to the end of April. Saturday night's main event was early January. There's 4 months there. It's nearly 16 weeks of difference.
Yeah.
You can literally go, I've beaten you. And this is what they're saying. Gunther has literally said, you are beneath me. I want to face these guys. I don't want to face you. I'm not interested in you. That's a great story because it devalues Jey. It gives him that baby face fire. Him winning the Rumble was such a shock that it was like, oh, that's great. And it makes sense. Because quite frankly, who are you going to have face the World Championship? Maybe Cena was going to do another. No, this is the better one. It's not the main title.
Yeah.
It's the secondary title, let's be honest.
They've made it that.
And this is where it will work for me. I was delighted that he won. And you know what? 70,000 people were as well.
Yeah, and put it this way. So, as you know, I was watching it in Amsterdam.
You were, yes.
And we were watching it, I think, the morning after.
Yeah.
Or 2 mornings after. And I was watching it with my friend, and he had got a little mini spoiler. You know how you just sometimes can't avoid something.
2 days, it's hard.
But the spoiler he'd had is he said to me, oh, I know someone notable that's eliminated. He didn't tell me. He didn't know who won. He'd seen that John Cena had been eliminated.
Oh, really?
So Punk got thrown out, and then he got to the final 3, and he was like, what's going on here? Which I thought was brilliant. And then Jey wins. We had a mixed reaction, so I love the fact he's a surprise.
Yes.
So I echo everything that you said.
And a surprise that isn't like it's a, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
And one of my pros is the backstory. Not even just that, but the whole story had with Reigns. What a lovely story.
And failing to win those titles as well.
Yeah.
SummerSlam and all that jazz.
That was
and even at the beginning, before the Bloodline started.
And that's stuff where I really, really love Jey. So I think he was at his best when he had a bit of a complex character. And that's what I'm going to get on to.
You actually already,
you see where I'm going?
I have 2 cons, right? My 2 cons, and this might feed into you. So let's put on my 2 cons. I'm going to say a con that I don't believe is a con. So I will start off with this con first of all. He's not a good promo. Now, that's not true. He's an excellent promo. Okay? Let's get it clear. This yeet thing is stopping him from being able to cut really good promos at the moment. Now, he's got 8 weeks between now and WrestleMania. He can have some real promos with Gunther where he doesn't have to do the whole get the crowd into the yeet. Because he's running into Daniel Bryan territory here. Daniel Bryan had the yes, and people would yes along. But Bryan would cut promos and then get to the yes spot. At the moment, Jey is kind of stuck on the yeet promos.
A watcher.
But when he does the promo, think of his promo with Cody, literally on SmackDown, it's good. So here's the thing. A lot of people go, oh, he's just a catchphrase. He's not. He cuts great promos. The problem is that's kind of what they're giving him or telling him to do. His promos are very one note at the moment. But he hasn't been in any feuds to have those promos. Not really.
Problem. Yeah. That he hasn't had feuds and now suddenly he's won the Rumble. So again,
to be fair, how many people have had feuds in the last 3 months though? It's Kevin.
Well, that's a wider problem with the company anyway.
It's not a problem because I think it's made WrestleMania really open and it's fit the puzzle. So I'm actually okay with the fact that the booking's been a bit loosey goosey. I'm actually been okay with it to be honest because it's been setting up IC titles and US titles, women's and all that jazz, and the Elimination Chamber's been set up. No matches scheduled for WrestleMania bar this one. So it's very, very interesting to me. I'm in game for it, but the promos in the last literal month in particular haven't been very good. So I understand people in this immediacy not seeing it, but we know he can cut a good promo. We
can,
know he
which
can.
Frustrates me more. So my problem is not so much the performer, and I'll get on to a bit of the performer stuff, it's more this version of the performer and what they've done with him.
Well, everyone keeps saying, oh, he's just an entrance. He's not. He has one of the best entrances going, if not the best entrances. He is not the Ultimate Warrior. He's not the Ultimate Warrior who was just an entrance, right? Or you could say he was a look as well. There was more. You can't just say he's an entrance. That's lazy. Because he clearly isn't. Because he's had 5-star matches in the past. Okay? And we'll get onto that. Because it's tag team stuff. So I know it's a con, but he can do the matches and stuff like that and all that jazz. But he is good. He isn't just an entrance. If you think he's just an entrance, then why would the crowd keep being crazy? If you're one of these people who goes, he's just an entrance, then you are Vince McMahon, and that's how horrible this is, saying that, it's the yes chant that's over, not Daniel Bryan. That's how I see it. Because it's not true, because the gimmick is over, the yeet is over, the entrance is over, the way he connects with the crowd is over. And that's why you have to, and this is my next pro, because we'll get onto the wrestling, because this is a thing we're going to have to talk about. The next pro is Triple H's number one big problem as a booker, right? He's got a trouble with booking women. He can't book more than 2 women's feuds at the same time, let alone 3. And his tag team work, mid-card titles, are shambles, right? I am not going to say Triple H is the best booker. He is 10 times better than Vince has been in the last 20 years. And that's why WWE is at the hottest. And he's kept these storylines going, and he's created intrigue, and he's created surprise, even with the 101 booking. But the fact that we've got somebody who's so over, Triple H doesn't pull the trigger. LA Knight didn't pull the trigger. Sami Zayn didn't pull the trigger. And you've missed the opportunity to pull the trigger. And now look where both of them are. LA Knight isn't the same. He's just not. He is nowhere near as hot. He was ready to win the WWE title.
Literally.
He could have been,
Roman.
but it literally could have been in at least the main event constantly. Could have been a main event player, and he's now barely mid card in terms of the presentation. Sami Zayn is obviously all over the thing, but he's had to be associated back with the bloodline, or he has to be associated with somebody else. He can't almost stand on his own because he hasn't been put into the main event bracket. I don't see Sami Zayn as a main eventer. No, I don't. But if he'd have won against Roman, he could have been that main eventer. He's pulled the trigger. And even if Jey just has the title for a month or 2 months, which is kind of what I see, it's either going to be a Kofi reign and he has a 6 month and it just doesn't quite work, because it's not going to. I'm going to hold this open that Jey Uso's a world title reign, and I do believe he will win, and I think you believe he will win as well, because he should win. If you're going to book it, you have to have him win. I don't think the world title reign will be very good for 2 reasons. One, there aren't many heels. You're not going to have Gunther lose to him again, are you? You're not going to have Gunther lose multiple times. There aren't many good heels, and there'll be a thing about the wrestling I'll get to again, because that'll be another problem. But it won't work, and he'll have to have the title taken away from him by somebody. This is where I would elevate someone like a Bron Breakker or someone like that, and go, there you go win the world title, and let's just push another main eventer. But he's pulled the trigger, and you've done it. Why not? He's going to sell the most merch. There's going to be people watching you've never seen before again, right? And they're going to watch this guy entrance, and everyone's going to go, that guy's cool. I'm going to buy more merch. And from a business standpoint and a fan experience standpoint, Jey Uso, again, is the right choice. They pulled the trigger, and you can't complain about them pulling the trigger.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with what you said in terms of pulling the trigger, and again, the merch. This is my other pro as well. The fan reaction and the merch. I can't argue that much if everyone else is into it. And I even say Triple H, so we'd go, oh, Vince only likes his guys, so he likes, not the fans. If I was in charge, I could see the plausibility in still giving this to Jey Uso because of where the fans are going. It's not about you as the booker. I think Triple H likes him anyway. But
let's say CM Punk wins the Chamber, for example. You could have had CM Punk win the Royal Rumble, but if he's going to have it anyway,
it needs to be a statement win.
Why not?
So I'm with that.
Should we talk about the wrestling?
Yeah, because this is where I'm going.
This is the problem. I will even I have to hold my hands up and go, this is the main problem. Go on, Sam, talk about it.
He's not a good singles wrestler, Sam. And hey, I know
I'm going to disagree.
Go for it.
I'm going to say he is not a main event level singles wrestler.
Okay, I think I can stretch that, but again, this is where it's being put.
This is the problem.
Yes. Super kicks are just lazy.
Oh my God, stop it.
And you know what? That's on Jey for me. It disappoints me.
It is now,
because he hasn't added that much to his arsenal and hasn't improved anything despite his push. I'm going, if you're going to be pushed...
He did a poison Frankensteiner at the Royal Rumble, and that definitely felt like can't wrestle, here's a poison Frankenstein. He's like, Jey,
just do more.
Great. Keep doing it.
Honestly, I'd love Triple H to go to him as an exercise. You can't do the super kick anymore. And just see what he has to do, and then he's got to be creative out of necessity. Because he's being rewarded for actually improving very little, is my problem. And you've got to, if you're to be main eventer with all of these great wrestlers like Gunther and Drew and Punk and all around, and Zayn, if you can't hold that level of match, and you can't, I think it does a disservice to other people. And I just think you still need a bit more time in the oven. I think you can still have the popularity, but because you defended him, and I understand why, because you say the transition from a tag team wrestler to a singles wrestler is difficult.
So let me talk about that now. Hold your point. Let me talk about that now, because what you're about to say is right. So let me tell them what they mean by that.
Yeah.
So people think that wrestling is wrestling. It's not. Tag team wrestling and singles wrestling are a different love language. They are so vastly different. Like, there's a different dynamic, there's a different psychology, and this is for good wrestlers. And you've also got to remember that Jey Uso has also been only a tag team wrestler his entire life. So that's even worse for him compared to other people I'm about to name. But go and watch Shawn Michaels when he breaks away from the Rockers. Shawn Michaels' initial singles run isn't good. He has to be led through matches. He's put with people who can work, and when he's not with people who can't work very well, like Tatanka, the matches aren't very good. Shawn Michaels had to work and had to learn and had to understand and move and transition from tag team wrestler into singles wrestler. Some people can and some people can't. Think about Jeff Hardy when he first did it. That took Jeff a long time to get it, and I don't think Jeff did get it until he returned, or until what the TNA was on his own. I don't think he ever got it really in WWE. Like, even when he did the Undertaker thing, that was a ladder match that he could do and he could work, but could he run a match on his own? He couldn't. It's really difficult. By the way, Bubba Reyes said Jey Uso is a great example of being Jeff Hardy. He's never going to be Shawn Michaels. He's never going to be Bret Hart, but he can be Jeff Hardy, and I think that's an excellent comparison. I really do. But the transition, at some point, you can't talk about transition, and Jey Uso now has been on his own for about 18 months now.
Kurt Angle learned how to wrestle from scratch in less time and become Kurt. No, I know you're saying,
I think that's unfair.
But but because if you're going to be in the main event level, you have to be spectacular.
Yeah.
So if we're giving
I disagree on that.
Let me say it,
I
because
disagree on that.
I think, again, I'm not expecting everyone to be Kurt Angle, but look at Logan Paul, how quickly he picked it up.
Again, let me throw something out there just on that front.
Go on.
John Cena, for almost the most of his career, was not a great singles wrestler.
Look at the backlash you got.
No, I know. But my point being is he was in that position because he deserved to be in that position. And then he got bad backlash and they could have fixed the booking. But you can't just ignore the things. We talk about characters and what we want from wrestling. And this is a character and this is an entrance. We do this on the power rankings all the time. We have an entrance, we have a look, and we have the over and a draw. Think about the scores that Jey Uso would get right now for entrance. It's a 10. At the moment. Over, it's a 9 right now. If his career started 18 months ago, we did this, you go, oh, he's a 10 out of this, he's a 9 for this, his look is an 8. He'd be really high on a lot of scores. But to be fair, we can only do it from that because the rest of the time he was a tag team wrestler. So actually, this is his power ranking score. Sure. And John Cena was really bad for a long time, and it took him a long time to learn. You pick Kurt Angle as the worst one, he's an Olympic gold medalist.
No, but
I would have gone with Sheamus, is who I would have gone with, as a better example.
Again, I think it still works.
But the problem is, I'm going to now join you, is I don't think Jey has become a good enough main event singles wrestler. He has had some excellent matches. His match with Bron Breakker was really, really, really good, and people start to forget that. The problem is, has Jey had a good match singles that's gone longer than 15 minutes? And the answer is no. And when he was given that opportunity at WrestleMania 40, he failed.
And not just failed so much that it was your worst of wrestling in 2024.
It was and this is why I can...
Jimmy,
this is why I can be as honest. I'm a Jey Uso fan. I literally had it as the worst of wrestling. I had it over. I didn't even care for the all-in thing from AEW. I went, this is the worst thing, because it was a massive feud, it was over, and the crowd went silent, and they failed with 17 super kicks. And you're absolutely right. Jey's work rate and his work in the ring is really, really, really poor. And for a main eventer, I think for a mid-carder, he's perfect. But he's got a main event gimmick and a main event response. So you've got this kind of weird seesaw problem, haven't you? Yeah. Now, this is where Gunther comes in. If there was ever a person who was going to get a good match out of a mid-card wrestler, it's going to be Gunther. Because quite frankly, Gunther can just slap him for 15 minutes and that. Think Brock Roman.
I know.
I'm thinking, all I've got in my head is the Brock Roman match from WrestleMania 31. Roman couldn't work as a singles guy. He had the same problem. He could only do tag. And Brock threw him around for 15 minutes. And you said it's one of the best main events. You enjoyed it so much.
I loved it.
And I think this is what they're going to try to do. And they've got time to work on a match. The problem is what will happen when Jey wins the title and he doesn't have the time to work on a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, well, again, the problem is, Sam, and I know they might have more time on the match, but we have seen Jey versus Gunther, and it wasn't good. I know
TV,
they have less time.
TV,
I know.
Saturday night's main event, it was throwaway to get a loss. This is different. This is a grander stage. You can't just pick that one match, because you can do that with so many other people. I can literally look at Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Hell in a Cell and go, well, that match was 40 minutes of boring. They must be boring.
But
you do that with anything.
No, I know, but my point is, so we can talk about the cause of why he's not a great singles wrestler, and I completely can understand it's difficult, but...
he should have learned. He should have learned by now.
There's that, and also the results are the results. So I go, well, I might understand why you're not a great wrestler, but it's not about that. If you're not that good, then you don't get here yet. For me, I just think it's too soon, and
even
it's not going to be
even for 2 months. Could you not main event for 2 months?
Why? No.
You can hide.
You can main event for 2 months, but not win the world title and win the Royal Rumble. It's a different thing. Main eventing and win the Rumble is a different thing.
Nah, that's fine for me.
No,
I think there are people who have been the same level of wrestler as Jey Uso, if not worse, and won the world title because of gimmick or personality and stuff like that. Absolutely.
But this is so. If he had an incredible personality, and I was almost like a Stone Cold level, I could be on board with it. But it gets me to my next point. It's such a basic and simple character, and he's lost his depth. I love Jey Uso in the Bloodline, and his whole rise and his backstory with Roman and how he's conflicted with Sami Zayn. It was amazing. He's a great actor in it, and he can really portray that conflict when he's given a good storyline. Do
you not think this has been a good storyline so far? Because I've enjoyed it.
The
Gunther attack on Raw, literally a week ago, was really good. Going, don't pick me, you're beneath me. It's perfect.
I think it's alright. It's kind of what Gunther does a lot. Yeah. He's done it with Zayn as
he's
well.
He's not said this.
No, it's okay.
He said, I'm better than you, Zayn, but he never said, you're beneath me, I don't want to face you, don't pick me. That's great.
That's not Jey Uso, though. That's Gunther.
Yeah, no. But I know, but this is the thing you said about getting to a level. If you put him with the right person, the story's there, and you're saying he's lost his depth. The depth can come through here. As I said, I think the 6 weeks he's had of doing this non-character has been an issue because he hasn't had anything to sink his teeth into. I really do. And I'm thinking with this 8 weeks of build to go that they can actually throw some really good depth. I think they're going to have a fantastic promo exchange in the coming weeks. So. I really do.
I hope so because, again, I'm now in for the ride. This is where we're going. I want it to be good. This is just how I feel about it right now. And I could be proved wrong, and I kind of hope that I'm proved wrong.
I do have a con, that I think has to be mentioned here. Because I said, I am as objective as you can get. Gunther's reign has sucked. Let's be honest here. Gunther's reign has sucked, and that's Triple H's fault. He has made Gunther second rate. Okay? It's not Gunther's fault. He had a good match with Randy Orton, and that's about it. He's been given barely any storylines. He wasn't even on the first Netflix show, so if you were watching for the first time, which many were, you wouldn't have even known this guy was important. And he hasn't felt important. His IC reign was more important than a world title reign. Makes no sense. And also, can I just say, and we said this on the podcast actually, on the Wrestling is Awesome podcast, if you don't defend the title, you can just stack pad your days and go, I've held the title for 200 days. How many times did you defend it? How many times did Judgment Day defend the tag titles? They had one defense and go, we've been tag champions for over 100 days. You're like, yeah, because you've done one defense. I reckon I could hold the tag titles if I just do it once. And Gunther's reign's been really poor. And we're expecting him to lose, because losing to winning against Jey would just be weird. It'd be the wrong decision. Now, unless the crowd turns on Jey and they change their mind, which is not going to happen, let's be honest. The crowd are feverish. They want to celebrate. It could close the show. I think it will open the show, personally. I think it will be match number one.
I think it's main event night one.
I think... I maybe this is just me, but I think they're going to be so desperately trying to make one of the women's matches a main event because they've had complaints about it. I think they'll be desperately trying to push Tiff and Charlotte. I definitely do. I think this could be... See this way, if this main event's night one, then Cody Rhodes is main event in night two. Let's be honest here, because he's probably facing Cena. We know
Cody's main event night two.
He could have probably facing Cena, or probably Punk, maybe even, or maybe both. And that's not what I'm predicting. Just so you know what I want to predict currently, because our predictions are... If you want to see our WrestleMania predictions...
We knew that was going to happen anyway, but yeah.
Well, The Rock didn't turn up, ruined everything. Just get that's gone. Our predictions for 2025. Yeah. You predicted Bronson Reed. His legs broke.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
What I would book is I'd have Cena win the Chamber. What I would book is I'd have a Punk win, and I would do Punk versus Cody, and that'd be it. And I'd have Rollins versus Reigns, and I would just leave it at that. I'd Cena Drew is what I would go. Don't do Cena Logan Paul. People keep booking it. Leave it alone. It's his last match. Don't do Logan Paul. What's wrong with you? But I would have Cena win the Chamber, Punk cash in his Paul Heyman in the bank, and make it a triple threat. I don't know how much pull Paul Heyman has to be able to make a world title shot. But that's what I would do. That's what I would go around, and I would have the triple threat: Cena, Punk, and Cody. I think it's a perfect match, as is Cody versus John Cena. But Gunther's reign has been really poor. And to lose to Jey Uso in what will be a big moment, and it'll be a memorable moment, but does it help Gunther's reign? If Gunther could have retained the world title, beating a Cena, because I don't believe Cena should win the world title at WrestleMania. If you think Cena should win the world title at WrestleMania, you've missed the point of Cena. If you think Cena should win his 17th, and then what's he going to do for 9 months? Defend the title for 9 months? He should either win it at SummerSlam and lose it on his final night, go out, or win it on his final night and retire. Both of those is where, and by the way, I would have that Cena wins the title on his final night, retires, and then the WWE Championship is up for grabs at the Royal Rumble.
That's yes, I'm happy with that.
That's
It's just not
good,
quite
isn't
Jey Uso, but yes, it's good.
Yeah, but it's all based on everything. It's all
relative.
here. It's all relative
Yeah,
based on
it'd be
because we
interesting
moved.
to chat.
But the point is, with Gunther not having the big star to face, it doesn't solidify the main eventness.
Yeah.
If he loses this, he won't go back to the mid card. I'm not saying that because he wasn't mid card even when he was the IC. He was upper mid card. He'll stay upper mid card. And at the moment, you don't have many heels.
Yeah.
There's about 2.5 heels.
Heels don't get booked.
And that's where this is one of my problems. Once Jey Uso beats Gunther, who and he will, who does Jey face?
Yeah.
Who's his first feud? If Drew was still on Raw, it'd be Drew, and I'd have Drew beat the title off him maybe in the second match. But there isn't one, so is it a heel Seth Rollins, which is where I would maybe go, because Seth Roman links to that. That's where I would go. That's what I would do. I'm booking that Jey beats Gunther, and then Seth heel, and then Seth takes the world title off Jey. But Gunther needed, I think, to beat a Cena.
Yeah, I've literally got it in my notes. I've said it's not because people are going, "Oh, we missed the Gunther Cena match," and yeah, I'm bummed about that, but not for the reasons everyone else is.
Yeah.
It's not about Cena.
No,
Cena can go and have a great story with pretty much anyone probably Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I actually want him to.
I hope Cena can find the wrestling that he had 5 years ago because even at the Rumble he did nothing.
Yeah.
He did zilch.
Hopefully he can start training, but again, he's clearly not putting much time into it, so who knows?
Well, they knew he wasn't going to be booked for these first things. He's clearly after the Elimination Chamber onwards. He's got 34 dates booked in, and none of them were up to the Chamber, clearly. Yeah. So I'm fine with Cena not being there. It's hurt Raw and SmackDown. It's not made it as start like the last Raw, not Raw from yesterday, the Raw from last week. It was like, stars?
Yeah.
Stars. Seth had a promo over there. CM Punk had a promo just before Logan Paul. And you're like, Punk's every week. Yeah. But they're not doing anything. They're like, hi, I'm still here. See you later. Last week, you got Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio, your main event. You're like, that's not the main event of Raw, is it?
It's been a disappointing few weeks for Raw considering how big the audience is.
I really enjoyed them, by the way. The Raws have been good.
But
and SmackDown was really good.
Stuff needs to happen.
But there hasn't been a rock in the rain, and there hasn't been something like surprising happen. Like, why didn't Gunther attack Jey Uso in the crowd?
Well, yeah,
could you imagine that? But anyway,
I did write in my notes, Gunther needs Cena. Gunther's title reign needs Cena. And that is just a big issue with this. But for me, it's the character thing, coming back to that.
I think the problem is, I think you've got 8 weeks, and I think you can only complain about the character once we get closer to Mania.
No, I'm more on about the decision to have him win the Rumble now, based on his body of work up till the Rumble. For me, this isn't... I'm not trying to insult Jey the performer because I actually really like him as a performer. I feel like he's handcuffed a little bit by this amazing...
This gimmick is it has handcuffed him, and I hope he realised that yeeting all the time isn't going to work. Daniel Bryan didn't just yeet. Austin didn't just what. They cut promos and then they had that as a moment or as a segment to annoy people. The yeet, and don't get me wrong, it's over when they say yeet, but people enjoy a one-word thing. We do. It's really good fun.
Easy, simple.
Can I just say, just completely unrelated, watching 70,000 people do this is a spectacle. Even Ellie Mae went, this is a lot of fun. I showed Ellie Mae for the first time. She'd never seen... She hates wrestling. If you don't know our channel, we have Ellie Mae, our resident adjudicator for Sam vs. Sam. She hates wrestling. It's a ball ache.
She's your girlfriend. She doesn't work for the channel. Like, we don't just force her. Well, we do force her.
You be a stopwatch. But no, she loves it. She wants to get involved. She likes having fun. But she doesn't watch wrestling. She's not interested. And I showed her the Jey Uso thing, and she went, that's a lot of fun. What are they singing? I actually want to know what they're singing. That's good. So it works, and it's got a person who hates wrestling, not interested, to go, that's fun. She then didn't get on Gunther. When Gunther tripped Jey, she went, oh, has he been wrestled?
He's been wrestled.
I went, not tripped.
Which is true.
Isn't that the verb? He's been wrestled.
He was wrestled. I'm happy with that.
I enjoyed it, but it shows it works. And I think you have to think about at WrestleMania, if you're ever going to put someone who maybe doesn't deserve it as much over, it's at WrestleMania, weirdly, because the rest of the year you can have your real wrestlers and stuff like that. And for me, I think Jey deserves it for his body of work, as from character standpoint, from the bloodline to changing to singles to getting himself being individual. And just on a complete sidetrack to that, how good's Jimmy been recently? He was a better promo. Jimmy's turned out to be a better promo, but his body of work's getting better. Yeah. He looks like a good singles. I think he should win the United States Championship at WrestleMania. I think you predicted Solo versus Jimmy. I don't think Solo's going to win the US title, but I think Jimmy could be in my ladder match that I predicted for the US
And
title.
win.
And I think Jimmy could win that.
Yeah.
I think we might have a combination of being correct.
Yeah.
And it shows you that these two have finally broken away. People go, I want the Usos back together. I don't.
Why not now?
I think these guys at the moment keep on separate shows, and I think they're doing amazing, wonderful work.
Yeah.
If Jey had a world-class match in there somewhere, would you have a difference of opinion? Is it the fact that we haven't had that amazing
if he'd
match?
have done better promo as well, I'd have a different opinion. Again,
Well,
I want to like
he
him.
has got the promos. We've seen it.
I mean, within this gimmick.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about this a lot, and what I wrote down about this, and this is not like, I'm not calling Jey Uso as a former drunk at all. Let me just get through this and explain to you what I mean. In my opinion, this yeet character is like wrestling junk food. Not junk. It's junk food.
Well, you've just hit the title for the video.
That's what it is.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Oh my God.
It's the TikTok of wrestling. It's a character you don't need to use your brain to understand. He just goes yeet and moves his arms. That's it. Forget the promo ability or character nuance. It's a dumbed down, 2D, simple, easy to understand babyface, and I really don't like it. And that is not me calling Jey Uso junk or really bad, because he's not.
No, I get your point.
But I think it could be interpreted as that. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Easy to absorb,
digestible,
easy to eat,
And
enjoyable. It gets you adrenaline up.
But there's
God.
no nuance around it. There's no different dynamics to it, and it's too simple. That's why I don't like it. It's a symptom of what modern wrestling is. That's why I don't like it.
That's a fabulous. Sometimes you every 6 months you say something that I can really resonate, and it can change my opinion on something.
That's what it is.
That is a fabulous sentence.
Thank you. That's why I resent it. That's it.
And that's why I would push it. Because it's simple and it's
works.
easy and it gets the masses. What your answer, weirdly, is the answer to the question.
But here's the thing, so I don't mind him being pushed. It's Mania. So, for example, I love a McDonald's. I love it. I don't want it to be my last meal. And that's what the main event at WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble winner is.
Thankfully, I don't think it's going to main event, so I think we're
No, I mean, that main event night one. For me,
I still don't think it's going to main event night one.
One of the main events. 7 main events.
4 main events, therefore, no main events.
Yes. That's the real key of the
Will
issue
you
for me.
care? Because this is going for the world title. This is essentially the IC title. Let's be honest here. Let's be frank. It doesn't matter. Would you care if we're going to get Cody Cena in a really great gripping match, or Cody Punk in a gripping match, or Cody Cena and Punk in a very gripping match? Is the main event of night 2 that this kind of feel-good moment doesn't matter as much?
Well, then you've said it yourself. It doesn't matter.
No, well, it doesn't matter.
If it doesn't
I don't
matter.
think the world title matters anyway.
No.
But I'm saying that if this thing where everyone gets to chant, we get these monumental moments that we can then play for the rest of life, because that's what we're going for here.
Yeah.
We're going for Brian yesing and 1,000 people yesing. We're going to go for yeeting with the world title, because think the world title going up and down, it'd be great. It'll be a wonderful moment, and then you can lose the title in 2 months' time, it clash in France or whatever. And
But then we've achieved what you hate me for going for, is a moment. And you hate it when I go for the moment.
Oh, I agree.
You always go at me
I
for
hate
this.
it.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm on board a little bit with this is because we are playing a moment, but we're also playing, it's not more than a moment, because it's a built thing over a crowd support, sort of thing. So I do, it is a thing I resonate with, and it is also a thing I completely hate.
That's what it is.
So I do get, but I have hope that in 8 weeks, going to a main event, that Jey is going to show some seriousness, because you're against Gunther. You can't yeet at Gunther over and over and over again, because Gunther's not going to take that. He's going to keep beating him up. And I think the fact he beat him up so much and then he go, I'm taking you on. I think we're going to get way more seriousness over the next few weeks. And I think that will change your mind on depth. And because the story's there, I can't win. I haven't won the big one, even when I did win the IC title. You could even throw in the tag teams. You had a big one at WrestleMania, you lost. So you can even throw those out there. And so you can throw those out there.
Yeah.
You can throw the you aren't a good wrestler. You can either do the Cena Triple H. That's clearly where we're running. That you're beneath me because you're not as good a wrestler as me. So I'm okay with that. My genuine worry with Jey Uso is it's a moment. Because I said I hate a moment, as you just said. But if it's built and they do really well for the next months afterwards, it's not a moment, because you've carried on that momentum. I don't see where it goes after he wins the title. And you can't just lose the title, because you don't want to lose that momentum of Jey, because let's be honest, everyone's wearing a yeet shirt. It's ridiculous. Like, I've never seen so much merch sold in such a short space of time. It's weird. If Jey was a twice as good wrestler as he is now, even with the lack of depth, I don't think we would even bother having the conversation.
No, I agree. It's if you had one or the other, you could kind of go, okay, with all the fan support, you go fine.
I think he will. I think the two things here that counteract yours, touch wood, is I think he will have serious promos because we know he can do it, and I think he will have serious promos because it will be the "I'll take my glasses off" moment, and it'll be one of those.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. We've got 8 weeks, 9 weeks really, and I think it's going to happen. So let's put that there. Let's just assume that's going to happen. If it doesn't, then we have a real problem because you've not booked it well. And let's be honest, if there's anybody who's going to get a good match out of Jey Uso with time, it's Gunther, because Jimmy couldn't work a singles match either, let alone Jey. So that match it was awful. It was so bad. It was really, really, really bad. But if there's anyone, by the way, he showed he was still over there, because when he came up at the end of Wrestlemania at the main event, everyone went mad. So
it was a great spot as well.
It still worked. But if there's anyone who can do it, is anyone who can make it interesting, is anyone who can create that story, it's going to be Gunther. And I am going to put my neck out on the line, Sam, and say, hey, this will be Jey Uso's best match. Not hard, admittedly, but I'm going to say this is going to exceed expectations on how good this match is going to be. It will shock and surprise everyone because, I think they're going to try everything they can to have a good match because Jey knows he needs a good match.
Even as you're saying it, I don't see it. I think too many super kicks. I think he gets in his own way.
That is always going to be a problem, and it'll be a problem in the match as well. I agree, but I'm hoping we don't have 17 of them.
Yeah, and I hope you're right. I really hope that I'm wrong, because I want to see good wrestling. I think we've got to see what knock-on effect it has, in answer to your question earlier, because if this ends up really muddling the card, now that's Triple H's responsibility, not Jey Uso's. But if that has a knock-on effect that we've got this triple threat situation,
we both don't want Rollins, Punk, and Reigns as a triple threat. Without a title, makes no sense. No. And I don't think three-way feuds in a triple threat work anyway, because it's like, I want to beat up both of you, so you have to pick one.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Do the three-way once you've done each individual rivalry, because you can do that for an entire year. You literally could do a whole year of Punk, Roman, and Reigns just inter-swapping with each other. You literally could do an entire year and then come back at WrestleMania 42 and have it as the main event for the title because everyone will want to do it. Yeah. If you blow your load now, it should be Rollins and Reigns. That's the story. That's the story. Yeah. Everyone goes, because you shouldn't have done Rollins and Punk at Raw.
No,
you shouldn't have done that. That should have been saved for Mania. And now I've seen it. I'm not interested in seeing it again, because unlike the Gunther Jey match, you can't build that story. Because Seth's trying to build it going. It's the most embarrassing loss of my life, and you're like, yeah, sure, but we know you can probably beat Punk. I'm sure it's fine. Whereas Jey can't say I can win because he never has done. So that's a different story. Cena's the one at the moment. It's the wild card because Cena Cody just seems a bit easy. And the triple threat seems a bit easy.
I feel like they could build to a good match.
I know, but it seems like the easy option.
Yeah, obvious, isn't it?
I'd like to see something different, particularly now that they've done the Jey thing. I mean, where does Randy Orton fit in? Where does Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go with each other? This WrestleMania is really open, and I think that's really exciting.
As long as they deliver. You can't leave it open for too long. At some point,
I'm expecting the minute we've got the Elimination Chamber done, and that fixes literally 4 of those matches. You'll have the 2 main men's matches and the 2 women's matches. You can add to it, obviously, but that will kind of put a fixed point, and we can start to grow around it. And I think that will make it good. You're right, but I think they've gone, we do have like 10 weeks. WrestleMania is like April 20th. It's really late. So I think they've gone, don't go crazy. We've seen it before. How often when they go, oh my God, I'm so excited for this feud, but the pay-per-view's 4 weeks away, you're like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
I think in conclusion, we're both kind of in an agreement and in a disagreement in a weird way. We understand why Jey is there. I am happy for Jey to be there, and I'm expecting, and I have a more positive outlook that I expect it to work and be a great match and have some really great promos, and I think everyone will be behind it, and I think it'll be a wonderful moment. I am terrified for what happens afterwards. I'm terrified if they actually do have Gunther win. They could,
you can't have Gunther win. I'm saying that.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But they could easily have Jey stay one-dimensional because this character is making me one-dimensional. The encore stuff is technically one-dimensional, and they've done it 3 times now, which shows how clever Triple H is to have Gunther attack him during the encore.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
Because he had to be on the table. He wasn't on the table beforehand and then went, I'll be back here. It was they're going to ask for an encore. You can attack him there. Genius. Yeah. Brilliant. But they also could easily have a bad match. Gunther has had mediocre matches.
Yeah.
Think about his match with Drew at SummerSlam.
He needs a good partner sometimes.
No, I don't think it's a good partner. It's just sometimes Gunther's style can lead to a match not quite clicking. That it can't all be Sheamus and can't all be the triple threat at WrestleMania. I think him destroying somebody. It's the same story as Sami Zayn from last year.
Yeah.
And that's actually more my biggest problem. You've actually just recreated the exact same story from Sami Zayn. And by the way, people are going, can Gunther lose 2 in a row? Yeah, it's fine. Heels are meant to lose at WrestleMania because it's the feel-good thing. It's literally fine. Go look at Triple H and Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania record. They're not good. And, Triple H is one of the best heels of all time. Pretty much just exclusively loses at WrestleMania, apart from Booker T, apparently. But I think Gunther can lose. It's fine. Gunther's lost twice since he's come up.
It's more... They have, and this isn't Jey Uso's fault, so it's easy to put more things on Jey Uso. They have squandered his reign so far. I think he needed Cena. My final thing is, before we wrap up, is I feel like with this Jey Uso gimmick, anyone can be this Jey Uso character.
I disagree.
I think I get that there's the goodwill from his story going into it, but I want to performance-wise with this gimmick. I think a lot of people could do it. If they're going to do this,
do you know what? We've seen people with amazing entrances who do nothing. Look at Lyra Valkyria, for example. Lyra Valkyria has a really fun entrance that the crowd go woo, woo, and then she wrestles and the crowd just are silent because she has no character, because she has no nothing. So I disagree. I think the goodwill and the bloodline of the hard work has got people behind Jey, and then he's added this gimmick on top. Anyone could have this gimmick. But I think no one can make this gimmick main event. And Jey has made this gimmick main event is the difference. Hence why he's been rewarded with a main event. And me personally, I think he deserves it. You don't.
I think as a performer he deserves it. I just don't think this gimmick deserves it.
What would you have him doing at WrestleMania this year?
Doesn't
win the Rumble. Cena wins the Rumble.
In my mind, I want him to face Styles. Because then you have the whole thing of, Styles is maybe more of a heel in this version. He's the better wrestler and go, why do you get all this fanfare? You're doing all this shit. I'm the better wrestler.
You're doing the Gunther storyline just for the world title.
But with Styles, heel Styles, and they haven't... I mean, if anyone take it to a good match, it's Styles, by the way.
Jey,
and I'd have him beat Styles.
I think the problem
would have been my thing.
Here's my actual problem that I'll conclude with. Jey win the Royal Rumble. He's not won anything. And when you have the surprise winner who hasn't won anything, as much as we're delighted for it, it's what makes you feel like it's unjust for it because he hasn't. It's like when Jinder won the WWE title. We're like going, couldn't you have won a couple of matches first before you then won the title, regardless if you deserve it or not? And I think the fact that Jey has lost so many big matches, which obviously they're going to play into the story, and it's the correct thing to do. It's like, but could you have won a feud? So it didn't have to be a title match, but it could be. Could you win a feud because he hasn't won a feud? That's the problem. He's lost all his feuds.
I'm trying to go,
He's lost all his feuds as a singles person.
Wrong, Sam.
Lost all the feuds. And that's where my issue goes. But Jey Uso is junk food. I think he's wrestling junk food is the epitome of where we are right now. But sometimes you go to one of these places and they serve a Supreme and suddenly it's do you know what it is? It's one of the ones it's the McRib. It comes round once every year. The Monopoly.
It's good.
And you go, I can do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And you go, do you know what? I enjoyed that for a bit. I'll go to Monopoly. I'll go and do the Monopoly a couple of times a week and I might try and win.
Exactly.
And then it goes away and you go, I'm happy that's gone away. And that's what I think Jey Uso will be.
Exactly.
He will win the title, we'll enjoy our Monopoly, we'll go, I got a free McFlurry, and then send us McFlurries. And then
get to after WrestleMania and realise, that wasn't good for me, was
I've
it?
gained half a stone.
Yeah, we've not really got further.
I don't feel like I felt anything now.
Yeah.
I've had my little sugar rush, and now I'm a bit like, I'm going to need a salad. I'm going to need a Gunther salad. I'm going to need a Gunther salad. Yeah. But what do you think about Jey Uso? This has been a really interesting discussion. It's very, very rare for us to be this modern,
and disagree this much.
And disagree. We really are on the other side of the fence because we're really on the same way. Very rare that I am the positive Ron.
It is as well. Yeah.
I believe it will have good promos, and I believe the match will exceed expectations. I'm not saying 5 stars, but quite frankly, I don't think Jey's had a 3-star match, bar maybe the Bron Breakker one, and I think that's because Bron Breakker's great. I want to see Gunther Bron Breakker, by the way. That's what I want to see. I want to see it. But I would think this is going to exceed expectations. I think we're going to have a 3.5-star match, a 4-star match, potentially, because I'll have the time to prepare for it, and Gunther's a better wrestler than Jimmy. So they can actually, Gunther will talk him through it, and they will have a very similar thing to WrestleMania 31 that Roman and Brock had. But what do you think about Jey Uso? What do you think about our opinions? Whose side are you on? Whose side is he on? And what do you think going into WrestleMania? What would be your WrestleMania card? Because our predictions that we did, whoever's going to win the predictions point, whoever's going to be the champion or the challenger, it's just like, Did we get a point? Did we
Yeah.
get anything right? Tiff and Charlotte, but we both predicted Tiff and Charlotte.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
so
Yeah.
what are we going to do? So, thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time on Sam's on Wrestling. Bye-bye.